Hey everybody, my name is Michael Nicholas and I'm the music director for Summit Players Theater. Like so many others in Summit, I am a graduate of the Marquette University Theater program and I'm super stoked to be back working with Summit. Now this year my role is the music director, but in the past I've been an actor with Summit Players Theater, so you may have seen me in Twelfth Night as Sir Toby and in The Comedy of Errors as a statue, among other characters, but that was my favorite. So this year I'm super excited to be working on music. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my job, some of my influences, and why music can be so important to a show. So like I said, in the past, one of my jobs was to be an actor in the show, but one of my other jobs was actually the assistant music director. So when we would go on tour, I would help kind of keep up with the music for everybody, lead warm-ups, remind people about different musical parts, just kind of keep everything fresh. And I got to be assistant director under my dear friend, Armando Ronconi, who was so good at his job working with music and directing us, so I can only hope to follow in his footsteps. So now I'm stepping up into the role of music director, and just a little bit about my job. Mainly, in my opinion, there are two parts that go into the Summit Players show process for music, and those two parts are preparation and teaching. So for preparation, it's important that we do a lot of research into the time period and the location of the show. So specifically for Winter's Tale, we want to make sure that we're getting the right sound. So for example, the show takes place in two different places. One is Sicily and one is Bohemia. Sicily is more classical, more strict. It's more of a traditional place, whereas Bohemia is more relaxed. They're more carefree. So you'll see. So the kind of the research that we do is, okay, what kind of music would we have in Sicily? Kind of more classical, kind of Italian, because it's Sicily. And Bohemia, we focused on more sort of Eastern European, more free, something you can dance to, something you can move to. So one of my favorite parts of the preparation that we do is that I get to talk with Maureen a whole lot. Maureen is our wonderful director. If you haven't listened to her talk with Hannah Clapperich-Miller yet in their podcast posted before, go back and check it out. Right now I live in Chicago, so I don't get up to Milwaukee a whole lot, but Maureen and I talk on the phone and we do a lot of brainstorming. We try to figure out what problems we need to solve so that the music can go over really smoothly. And some of those things we need to figure out are what does the scene need and who's available. And that's something that's really important actually for Summit, is that there's usually only 6 people on stage at a time. So a lot of the music depends on who we have to work with. So that goes into a lot of the planning that we do. Obviously, as part of preparation, some of the music we have to write. So I go through a lot of sitting around thinking of melodies and harmonies and things that we need. And we actually find some of the music that's already been written for shows that put Shakespeare lines to music, and there's something available so we can take that and use it in the show. And sometimes you just need instrumentals, so sometimes we'll just come up with something quick, again based on who we have. We have super talented people who work with Summit Players Theater, so there are a lot of people who can play different instruments. So you'll see a lot of that in the show, a lot of variety of places that music comes from. So the second part of my job is teaching, and a lot that goes into teaching is making sure that these actors can sustain the music for the entire season. It's a long time. They go to a lot of state parks over the course of the entire summer, so it's important that we give them lots of valuable tips and tricks to be able to keep singing, keep playing the entire summer. So usually what we'll do is, like I said before, I would help out Armando. When we were out on tour, I would make sure things were keeping sharp, keeping fresh. So we'd probably do that same exact thing. We have someone in the cast who can make sure people are learning as they go and keep everything sharp up here for the entire summer. Something a little bit different about me is that when I teach, I like to use my trusty ukulele. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. A lot of people like to use the mighty piano, but I like the ukulele because it's something that works really well for me. And that's really important whenever you're teaching something, is that you focus on what you're best with. And also, ukuleles are great because they're super portable, and which means it's usually one of the instruments we have on stage. So that's one reason I like to teach and compose and practice on my ukulele. So I have a super wide range of inspirations. A lot of it comes from the music I listen to. A lot of it just comes from what I hear inside my brain sometimes. It's kind of all over the place. It might be something super classical. Or might be something like sad 80s British pop music. Might be my favorite band, the Beatles. I brought them in here so everyone could see. It might be modern pop music that you hear today. So it's really cool when you can bring in different elements from all over the place. One of those places that I actually draw from is my time with my a cappella group in college, The Naturals, who are on Spotify. Gotta give a shameless plug here. Go listen to the boys. And that was a really formative experience for me, because sometimes in Summit there are scenes where we won't be able to use instruments. We want to do a song a cappella. So that's really useful if I need to write something where it's just voices, and something I can teach easily because it's something I have experience with. You know, when it comes to instruments and voices, like I said before, it's all about who we have available. That's something Amelia touched on too with costumes. It's that we have to keep in mind who we're composing for, who we're planning on working with in a scene. Like I said, super talented group of people help make Summit happen, and everybody's so musically talented. It's really like an embarrassment of riches. We have so many options. So like I said, one of those options is the ukulele. It's super portable, really conducive to a season of traveling and a show where you might be moving around a large outdoor space. Other instruments we've used are the recorder, we've used a bugle, we've used different percussive instruments like drums, and sometimes we'll even have the audience help us make music too, with some of the sounds they make. Like they might make a heavenly, ethereal "oh" sound, or they might clap their hands, or cheer. So that's something I really like, is that it can be really interactive. It's not just the actors making the music, but when they do, they have a lot of options and they are darn good at it. So let's talk about why music is important to a show. Music is not just important for having fun. You know, it's obviously always fun to have music in shows, but it's also super important to tell more of the story. It adds another layer. So for example, music can help set the time, the location, and the mood of a story. So think about your favorite movies. What would those movies be like without any music? Well, they might tell the same story, they might have the same words and the plot lines and everything, but there might be just a little bit something missing, a little bit of something that can help bring context, can just add a little bit more to what you're looking for. So what would 27 Dresses be like without Benny and the Jets? What would Ferris Bueller be like without Twist and Shout? What would Purple Rain be like without Purple Rain? See what I'm saying? So in Shakespeare's time, music kind of served the same purpose it does today, where it's just another layer, another extra little thing to help tell the story, which is exactly what we're trying to do with the music today. So like I said before, music can help describe the time, location, and the mood of the story. So let's start with location. So location, like I mentioned earlier, the two locations in Winter's Tale are Sicily and Bohemia. So Sicily, one of the themes that we worked on is something a little more classical to help show you we're somewhere where things are a little bit more traditional, a little bit more strict, and that sounds like this. Whereas Bohemia, we might have something that sounds a little bit more like this. Very relaxed, very much like free spirit. It makes you want to dance. You're somewhere where you have no worries. You're carefree. So that's what we say when we mean it can help describe the location. Now with time, think back to the theme you heard with Sicily. If a character were to leave Sicily for a long time and then come back many years later, maybe you hear the theme again. It might happen a little more slowly to show that time has passed. So it might sound something like this. So it really helps tell the story in ways that sometimes that words can't. Music is just, it really helps paint the picture. And that's especially true when it comes to mood, because you can, in Shakespeare's shows, sometimes there are words or phrases that are difficult to understand by today's standards, and you might need music to help tell that story a little bit. An example of a sad moment I have comes from Twelfth Night, and was a song called Come Away, Death, and it sounds like this. So that helps tell the audience that something is sad, that somebody might be in a really tough spot, that things are not going well. Whereas maybe a happier example is something like this from the Comedy of Errors. Right, so something more upbeat. There's been a happy interaction on stage. It's all about context, and it's all about helping tell the story. So that's a little bit about me and what I do, and the musical happenings that go on within Summit Players Theater. So thanks for listening, and anyway, here's Wonderwall. I'm just kidding. Anyway, here is a little taste of a song that you might see in Winter's Tale. Thanks for watching. Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you.